Hello, you beautiful people. Welcome back to the 38th episode of the West Ham Save. My name's Casey Sports, and this is the Champions League round of 16, a place we've been all too often. If you remember back a couple years ago, we got all the way to the Europa League semi-final leg. We went out to Liverpool, but the season after that, we had defeated Atletico Madrid in the round of 16 before going out in the quarter-finals to Bayern Munich. Then, once again, we would beat Atleti in the round of 16. We would overcome Barcelona just narrowly. We'd go out to Barcelona in the Champions League quarterfinals again by that late 79th minute goal from PSG, despite an early 3-1 lead. And that takes us to this season. We, of course, lost that Carabao Cup final on penalties to Southampton. James Ward-Prowse unable to score against his old side. We then would go on to beat Everton 5-2, and I'll be honest, I was a bit nervy this whole game. McNeil 1-0 up in the first half, and I thought that might well be it. Thankfully, Rabiot equaled things up, Rakov gave us the lead, and Mikalenko would equal things up, and I really did think this is it now. The season is just turning into turmoil, but Rakov with a quick double would get his hat-trick and put us 4-2 up before Kudus would round things off with an 80th minute fifth goal. That game would get 9.9, but things wouldn't all be rosy as Evan Ferguson pulled his ankle ligament. He's going to be out for the next week or two, and Stefan Ortega in training would also pick up a calf muscle injury. So, we are facing PSG, and this is the team I'm thinking of utilising, or at least something along these lines. So, they play a 4-4-2 with high wingers and two very, very talented strikers. As a result, despite the fact I do really like Jeremy Frimpong, I believe he may have to drop once again for Ben Johnson, whose sole job is to man-mark a little boy known as Kylian Mbappe. Christensen will also have his job. He's going to be focused in on Ousmane Dembele, two very good, very talented wingers, so they're going to play a little bit more support roles. We're also going to have the wide wingers play a bit more as wingers, but we are going to push this midfield up even just a tad bit. Going to keep Fabinho here, but Ward-Prowse is going to step up a tiny bit. Hopefully he can be a bit more involved with the game. And I just changed it, but I'm going to change it back. Rakov is going to stay as our leading striker. I'm definitely nervous, I'll tell you that much. Bunani also picked up an injury, I forgot about that. He can be on the bench for today, but cannot really be involved in the team. No Florian Wirtz, instead James Ward-Prowse takes his position as we move back into that midfield too. I'm confident, but I'm definitely not at ease. I can say that much. It's definitely not the type of game I'd like to be in just the round of 16. I wish we could have at least faced someone like Atletico Madrid where I'd be a little bit more confident. Here we go. I think PSG have changed their tactic. I swear, if they've done that, that's going to put me in a lot more trouble than it's worth. Hakimi on his right hand side pulls across. Christensen clears on his fast Marquinhos. Vitinha. No, this is quite easy here for PSG. I'm sorry for the game being very laggy today. I'm not sure what that is. Now we are going to be solely playing the two legs of the Champions League, so we can just skim through. A little quicker, Hakimi. That's an amazing goal. And usually where we're so dominant at the London Stadium, we're actually 1-0 down just 6 minutes in. This is not good at all. Over a two-legged affair, you've got to think we can change things around. But that's a great goal to be scored. And there's your team. It's definitely a different formation to what I expected. And I think if that's going to be the case, I'm going to drop Ward-Prowse, as there's not as much space in that midfield as I predicted with the 4-2-4. Now, as the feeling was that I was going to be able to actually control the midfield even with just two players. Here's a chance. Kudus had an amazing game against Everton. Rakov down to Fabinho, and it's just wide. Really big chance there from our veteran. But we are definitely keeping up. That's the big statement to take away right now. We're keeping up with this team. Hakimi pulls that back to Ferran Torres. Oh, that's a horrible goal to concede. Spun away in basically the 6-yard box, kind of like 8 yards away from the goal. No one closed him down, and a horrible deflection. This season is absolutely collapsing before our eyes. Look at that. Basically an own goal, if we're being honest, by Ben Johnson. Brought in for one of the biggest games of his career. And was that our first mistake? So yeah, the idea was that the wing-backs might, they are pretty solid defenders. They might be able to at least keep up and do some sort of damage. But we are getting outplayed across the park. Vitinha. It's 3-0. Well, we're going to need to make a change. We're half an hour in. We're 3-0 down to PSG. We're going to move back to this 4-3-3. We're going to play a little bit more direct. That much is obvious. And it's going to be Ousmane Diomande out. Florian Wirtz in. And I'm also going to drop Ben Johnson for Jeremy Frimpong. A double change half an hour in. You never ever want to be in that situation. 3-0 down to PSG. Oh God. They're not even having to get to first gear as well. I can't believe that. I'm a little bit in shock. I thought we would have a decent shot here against PSG. I really did think I'd thought this one out. To Debo. Ward-Prowse. To Debo. Needs to find a pass here. It's just a little bit too negative for my liking. I want to be a bit more aggressive. We need to get at least one goal back. If we can win the second half, I'll have confidence going into the second leg. Kudus driving forward. Pulls it across. Donnarumma got a touch to it, kind of flapped. And it's behind for the corner. So that's something. Ward-Prowse with the resulting corner kick. To Debo, obviously the main man, nearly on his head. Savage clears away. On his return from Saudi Arabia, he was of course one of the players we wanted to sign, but he opted instead for PSG, and we resulted to Ruben Neves, who isn't even in the squad. Kudus struggling with fitness. Bowen and himself having terrible games. Rako's fitness isn't great, and we don't have many substitutions. But it's going to have to be Gonzalo Borges, not a player who's played often, but he's our only hope. And I'm going to bring Ruben Neves on and play Florian Wirtz as a false 9 in that midfield position. In that centre forward position. "20 minutes to go. Still nothing coming of this. We're going to have to make our final changes. Fabinho off for Thomas Souček, and Rabia will come on. No, we don't have that substitution to make. It's just going to be Souček on. I'm hoping set pieces might be a threat with the big boy. And it is the big boy. His first goal of the season in his final ever West Ham season. He's leaving at the end of the year. And what a way to say goodbye, if maybe that is the turning point for this two-legged affair. And straight away there's another highlight. To Debo, Souček again on the ball. Has he just changed this game on its head? Ruben Neves, Borges, finds Florian Wirtz, he's got to score. It's off the post. Donnarumma blocked off the angles. But that's massive. 2 really big chances for us. Gonna keep demanding more. And here's a highlight again. Ward-Prowse with the corner in. Souček over the bar. It could, and it maybe even should be 3-3 here. In these last 10 minutes, we had a couple huge chances. But it's going to end 3-1 to PSG. But we won that second half. And we did a very, very good job in it. So we're definitely a little bit better now. 2 goals off of PSG. But we have to head to the Parc des Princes. I'll see you there, but before we do, I want to have maybe a little bit of a bigger look into that. The XG was very, very good. That much we can take from it. We had a couple great chances. Is Souček the answer? because of what he did in terms of kind of aggressively changing the game. What if it was something a bit more defensive, even though we are 1 goal down? Something like this. Souček, Fabinho, Ward-Prowse. We play 4 set pieces. Run at the defence. We don't really play it out to defence. We don't really work it into the box. Instead, we try and do exactly that and just hold on and defend, creating issues. So we're going to continue to try and man-mark those positions with the wing-backs. Rakov doesn't seem he's picked up an actual injury. You're marking the right, silly. No, he is marking the left. He's on our right. So he'll be marking the left. Are you marking the right? Yeah. So I'm thinking something like this. And our way to know is this game against Tottenham. If this tactic is going to work. Tottenham's still a very good side. For those wondering, for the league position, we are in 7th place, but with 3 games in hand on most teams in the league. Chelsea were 2 games behind. We are 12 points off. So we can bring that down to 6 points between Chelsea. And their next game is against West Brom, which you'd expect to be a victory. But after that, they have us. So if results go in our correct way, if they lose to West Brom and we are victorious on the 17th, we will leapfrog them. As for Liverpool, who can go a point ahead of Chelsea if results go well, they face Leicester, Fulham, Newcastle, Aston Villa, Chelsea, Everton, Tottenham, City, Newcastle, Leeds, and then finish the season facing us. They aren't the greatest against the weaker teams. You can see here their last 3 games, they lost to United, they lost to Arsenal over 2 legs. So, Tottenham, even Aston Villa, Chelsea, Newcastle and us, they can definitely be a few upsets, and this league title can start to look a little bit more real for us. So, a Champions League, difficult but possible, and that's the same exact story for the Premier League. We'll see you for the second leg against PSG. So, we are back with this second leg. The Tottenham game was frustrating. 0-0 draw. We had over 2 XG, a lot of very good chances, just didn't put them away. Obviously, Rakov, he's also struggling with fitness. You can see that Kudus' fitness isn't great. Ward-Prowse's fitness isn't great. We're playing a lot of games consecutively. Kudus is going to have to be dropped for Florian Wirtz. Bunani, thankfully, back in the team. We have Rakov barely able to continue playing. But yeah, we're going to have to try and stick with it. Fabinho just returned from injury. He picked up an injury quite early on in that game against Tottenham, which perhaps didn't help. I'm going to try and stick with this. Definitely stick with Ward-Prowse for now, just due to his ability in terms of those set pieces as we face Paris Saint-Germain. Now, I'm not going to change much. In fact, I haven't changed anything despite not being able to score against Tottenham. The reason being, I do believe in our chances. PSG's side is still that 4-3-3. Xavi Simons has joined the squad. And Josip Beraldo, is that right? Yeah, Lucas Beraldo came into that centre-back position. I'm going to stick with this because even though we didn't score, we created a lot of good chances, and I'm hoping maybe that we can do something here against PSG. But this is not a good sign. Mbappe. Oh yeah, brought Frimpong into the side as well to replace Ben Johnson because he's a bit better going forward. As this is not great. Dembele through, just saved by Trubin. Well, we didn't really concede any chance against Tottenham, but PSG are a whole different breed of animal. Different kettle of fish, as some may say. Todibo thankfully heads away there. Bunani driving forward. This is great work. Swings it over. Not quite. Florian Wirtz now on the ball. 17 minutes in. It's already been a bit of an action-packed game, but we're losing the ball very easily. Emerson Royale. Nice ball inside to Ferran Torres. He finds Xavi Simons, and that's a lovely goal, but with a count, and I'm going to change Going to get rid of the be more expressive. Not necessarily be more disciplined, but just get rid of the idea of like constant movement. And that goal is going to count, not even bothering to check for offside. I thought there might be something in it. No, absolutely not. Christensen keeping him on. 1-0 PSG. 17 minutes in, and we're back to 3 goals down. There is one last roll of the dice I have in this team, and I did not want to have to bring it out this early. I'm going to try and change things up because it's a little bit boring, and I'll admit this much. It's a bit boring, but if we're going to win something, we might have to go with the final roll of the dice, as they say. 6 shots, 3 on target. Again, we look a slightly better team offensively, but we just can't score. Rako's fitness is through the floor. Christensen, Diamonde. Christensen once more. This is nice football, but we need to be better. Fabinho. To Debo. Suchek. Okay, we're doing something here. Ward-Prowse. Go on, find that pass over the top for Florian Wirtz. And Wirtz drives through. And it counts. 1-1. West Ham equalise at the death of the first half. But we are still 2 goals down. And the question is obvious. Do you stick with what we have so far? Well, obviously Rakov needs to come off. And even though he's not fully fit, it's going to be the chance of Evan Ferguson to play this final half. Highlight here for PSG. Swings it in. Skriniar can't quite get that head. It's back to Ousmane Dembele. Dembele, beautiful football fan. Skriniar. Mbappe, who has a slight injury, driving through and just hits the side netting. 45 minutes to score 2 goals. Can we do it? Free kick here for PSG. We aren't getting any set pieces. Savic looks for Ferran Torres, down to Skriniar. There's no way Skriniar was onside. We're not fainting anything. It's time to bring out the final gun. The 4-2-3-1 Gegenpress. It's all I have left in this team. And we need to make some changes. So it's going to look a little something like this. Florian Wirtz playing in that centre. On the left hand side, Mohamed Kudus. And Brunani having a poor game is going to come off for Jared Bowen. Going to go more attacking. He scored 2 goals. There's no more overpowered tactic in all of FM history. But still, absolutely nothing is coming of this. We need to score 2 goals. Where are the 2 goals coming from? We're down to 20 minutes left. Still, nothing happening at all. 15 changes need to be made. But what changes can be made? Will Prowse come off for Ruben Neves? And I'm going to bring to Debo off for Pau Torres. What the fuck? Why is literally nothing happening? Absolutely nothing at all happening here. PSG holding on, just playing defensively, ensuring they keep this game. And it's going to just run out with 3 minutes of added time. The first highlight of the second half, really, finally happens. 45 minutes have gone by. Kessie. Christensen clears away. Florian Wirtz can't get there. Xavi Simons. Ousmane Dembele finds Mbappe. And well, he's not onside, but that spells out this entire game. A whole bunch of nothing where we do even less. It's going to finish off 1-1 here at the Parc des Princes. We put up a good fight. And there's straight away a highlight again. Trubin launches it forward. Ferguson knocks it down to Florian Wirtz. What a goal! An amazing goal by Florian Wirtz from 30 yards. I think that may well have even been first time. Wait, where's the highlight? Show us the fucking highlight. Florian Wirtz with a double, a quick double. but it wasn't enough. And we are knocked out of the Champions League in the round of 16 for our first time in 3 goes. We go out at such an easy level. And Luis Enrique's side puts us to the sword. We now have only one competition left. The Premier League, the hardest one you could argue of them all. 4 bites of the apple. And we're left with only one to satiate us. Chelsea, we're not victorious? No, Chelsea and Liverpool both were victorious. So again, we can only bring it down to a 6-point deficit if we win our next 2 games in hand. That'll take us up to 59. No, that'll be an 8-point deficit. Of course it will. That's why I was starting off Tottenham. That draw against Tottenham has put us even deeper in the gutter. So we are currently 14 points off of top position with 11 games left for us. Is it possible? I don't know, but we're going to have to keep fighting. We have games against Chelsea next. I think I'm going to leave that. I think I am going to leave the Chelsea game because it's just too much. Well, how long into this episode are we actually? 21 minutes. Yeah, we will come back for Leeds and Manchester City. And then we'll finish off the season with Fulham and Liverpool. I'll see you all then. Goodbye.